Hey everyone, it's Jess. I wanted to make a video regarding linking listings on Airbnb. Now, this is something that came up with a current client of mine who I'm helping mentor along his Airbnb process. And it's something that I had never thought about before because it's nothing that I've personally experienced with my Airbnb units. So some of you might not have this situation, right? But when I looked it up and tried to do research on it, I realized that this is more of a special situation, but you might run into it if you're doing something like my client is. So let's talk about what it means to link listings together on Airbnb. How can you do it? Why would you want to do it? So what does it mean to link listings together? Linking listings connects the units to one another to avoid double bookings. So this is if you have multiple listings that, for example, might go to the same property. Now, it's important to remember that we are not talking about syncing your calendars together between multiple rental sites to prevent double bookings. That's not what this video is about. We're not talking about syncing the calendars. We're talking about linking the actual listings, the actual separate listings that you have up together. So when do you need to do this? I'm going to give the example that my current client has of what he's doing with his Airbnb units. This is a kind of rare example, but apparently, a lot of people do Airbnb this way. So if you're someone who is wondering how to do this, then this might be helpful. So let's say that you have one house, one unit that you list on Airbnb as an entire unit, but you also want to list that unit as far as having private rooms so that someone can either book the entire unit altogether or multiple people can book rooms in this unit, at different times. And maybe they all have a separate private room, but they share the living room, dining room, things like that. So in a situation like this, remember that let's say you have all these as separate listings. So you have private room number 1, private room number 2, private room number 3. Then you also have a fourth listing that is the entire unit that someone can book. So do you see how it could be an issue where because they're all set up as separate individual listings, and Airbnb doesn't know that they're connected to the same property, that you could have someone who books a private room, and then someone comes along and books the entire unit as well. So hopefully that makes sense. But you want to prevent that from happening because those units, those listings are technically all in the same space. So if someone comes along and books a private room, the entire unit is no longer going to be available. And vice versa. If someone books the entire unit, then we don't want those private rooms or those individual rooms to be available to book because they're in the same property. So what exactly do you do to link it? Now, it took me a while to actually find this link because this is more of a rare problem. It's a good idea to maximize your, way to make money, but a lot of people don't do this. So if you are someone who's doing this, then these are the directions you need to follow. You want to go to your calendar in the Airbnb hosting portal. Go to calendar and select the listing calendar that you want. So the listing that has that you're working with here, that is an entire unit and also individual rooms. Click on your availability and then go to your connected calendars and link separate Airbnb calendars. Choose the main listing that contains your other listings. Click continue and then click the listings that you want to link. So your private rooms in this case. And then you save. Now then your calendars are only linked between the listings that you selected. So I'll include this link here because I think it is extremely helpful. And then your third party, like if you guys were trying to connect calendars or sync calendars, then there's a little tab where you can go directly to that as well. And that would be like between multiple platforms, right? So that somebody can't double book your property on VRBO and on Airbnb, right? If you have a listing that's up on both. But for right now, that was just to actually link different listings and why you would want to do that. So go to that link, and then, like I said, it was really hard to find information on that or figure out how to do it just because it is more of a rare case. But go check that out if that's something that you guys want to do, and hopefully that helps.